I spent 26 years in a sexless marriage where my wife made me feel like a piece of because I wanted to have sex with her. I spent years of sadness, years of mental abuse. Then one day, watching Joe Rogan, I heard a quote saying, "All men live lives of quiet desperation." I said no more, never again. I left her game plan, her cruel punishments of my feelings, and never looked back. I would tell any man, if your wife, long-term relationship, or girlfriend withholds or plays games with sex, leave her as soon as possible. Don't waste 1 minute of your time on a hateful woman. You'll end up in your mid-50s, bitter, angry, and lost in life. Let's just get right into it.
Sex is how your husband feels loved and respected. Your husband is not a woman. He is a man. And sex is incredibly important to a man. And it's where we miss each other.
And ladies, keep in mind, this is a woman saying this. So just listen up. But, I know a lot of girls don't like to listen to other women, only unless it comes to feeding into their delusions. So I get it. And then they, exile the women that actually speak facts. I get it.
And just go totally different ways as husband and wives. That if you ask him a good man, what are the top 3 things that are most important to him in a marriage and in a relationship, sex is going to be number 1, if not number 1, 2, or 3. If you ask a woman,
you think about it like as a guy, like that's the if a girl, all she really needs is that attention, bro, for real. But like a guy, like me personally, I don't feel like a girl really would like me unless she wasn't willing to drop those panties for me, bro. She isn't willing to do that, or she's like, hesitant, or this, that, and the third. I already chalk it off as like she don't really rock with me like that, because if she find the right guy comes along, she'll definitely do it for him. So just keep that in mind.
Or you could ask a woman, what are your top 10 most important things to you in a marriage or a relationship? Sex might not even make the list. It might be like number 8, 9, or 10, maybe.
That's wild.
So we have to understand it as women that sex is incredibly important to men, and we know that. That's why we use sex as a weapon, and we use sex to manipulate and control, and we all know how we do that and have done that.
I cannot believe a woman's out here just speaking this openly about this and candidly about this. I never thought in my wildest dreams someone would be this transparent and upfront. And as in someone like a woman being this transparent and upfront. Because we all know how most women rock. Read between the lines, ain't nobody got time for that shit though.
What happens is that we begin to treat our husbands like Neanderthals, and that there's something wrong with them, that sex is so important to them, and we want to change them and make them so wrong for just who they are as a man. But you have to understand, when you chose to get married and you made vows and you made a commitment to your husband, you took on the role and responsibility to have sex in your marriage and enjoy it as a part of a healthy relationship.
And honestly, if you didn't foresee that happening, then you probably got married to someone for the wrong reasons. You really didn't even like them. See, the problem is with a lot of these chicks, bro, is that they see guys as subhuman, as she mentioned, kind of the Neanderthal thing. And then 2, on top of that, they see guys as they have no feelings. Guys' feelings don't matter at all. They're just robots or something. They can just you're a guy, your feelings don't matter. They're invalidated. And then 3, a lot of chicks just only see guys as a utility. And granted, that is kind of just mostly what we are to them, so I can understand that. But there's not really a human connection. You know how they always say that guys actually truly, genuinely, unconditionally will love their girl, but a woman really would only love a guy under the condition that he does X. it's just, it's a cold world, man.
Need to understand, and this was, well, let me finish that thought. Women need to understand that sex is not an option, and it is not something that is inconsequential. Sex is part of a healthy relationship and marriage. And this is one of the things I've been reflecting on, because when my husband and I got engaged, I had already started withdrawing and putting a wall up around sex when in the beginning of our relationship and dating and leading up to us getting married. We had a very healthy, enjoyable.
I wonder why that is, bro. Like, why does the classic bait and switch happen? Like, why do they put out, like, in the beginning, and then as soon as they achieve, because that's why their end goal's been reached already. They got the marriage, they got the commitment. Bro, that is some cold shit, man. That is some cold shit, man. If I don't know what else to describe about that. That is some cold shit.
Sex life, and then I threw my walls up, and that's very, very common for us as women. And it was a really, really big challenge in even just my early 30s, which is so sad to me now. And I had to learn an important part of my healing in my marriage, and through this decade of my 30s. In the beginning was overcoming the walls I had built around sex.
Hold on, what does that say in the back? Women, you are the source of your unhappiness. Valid.
Sex in my marriage, and recognizing that I couldn't have sex with my husband as a duty or a chore or an obligation. When we have sex from a place of obligation or as a chore, we feel used, we feel resentful, if we're doing what we're supposed to do. That's actually a wonderful example of being nice, is doing sex to check the box and say done. Maybe I bought myself a week or two and then shutting down. That's not okay in a marriage. That's a cruel way to treat your husband, who is a man in which this is very important.
Who would ultimately die for you and do everything for you. You can't even give him some box that you would give to some lame loser who would never even do nothing to you or would ever commit to you. See, women, y'all are messed up in the head. And when I say women, I don't mean most or all, but I do mean the majority, because the majority would pull some crap like this. Y'all ain't right. At all. And trust me, I'm in my right mind. And y'all ain't. And no one hurt me. It's just, if you have the eyes to see, it's pretty clear and obvious.
Him. So ladies, let me make it very, very clear. You cannot have a healthy marriage. You cannot have a healthy relationship if you are not having sex with your husband, or you are shut down to sex and doing it as an obligation and a chore. It's not okay. And you can't have a healthy relationship or a healthy marriage from that place. We all know sex is part of a healthy relationship. And here's something that is very important, ladies. We all enjoy sex. If you remember when you met your husband, or before you met your husband and you were dating and having different relationships with men, we couldn't wait. We couldn't wait to get together and meet up for a date and know where that was going to lead. And we can reflect back to the beginning of our relationship before we got.
But yet the person who you committed the rest of your life to, you can't even give like that. I don't understand the logic. Can someone please, if anyone can riddle me that fiddler, what is the logic behind that? I know. Women don't really operate on the grounds of logic. I get it. But even from an emotional standpoint, what is the emotional logic, you could say, emotional reason for that? That just sounds batshit crazy. So I'm I'm gonna have so much. I'm gonna have a ton of sex, sleep with a bunch of dudes, and then even like the guy that like my future husband, like at the beginning stages, I'm gonna just like jackrabbits, and then as soon as I get that ring on my finger, I'm gonna start dangling it in front of him. Bro, that's some scam bro. I'm sorry, bro.
Engaged before we got
People
married.
are still getting married in
the
2025. Like, you crazy, bro.
We loved and enjoy having sex. We begin to put our walls up in it. I'm not going to get too much into that, but I do want you all to know, trigger warning. We're going to be talking, or I'm going to be talking a lot more about our relationship with sex as women and the importance of it in a marriage and how to overcome the walls that we have built around it and how to overcome the withholding of sex that we have put into place in our marriage. And I'm also going to be talking about how everything we've been taught by the experts about sex is wrong. That we are not ovens that need to be warmed up first. That's another video for another time. But it's really, really important. We have been fed so many lies and so many myths and so much misinformation.
Who's we?
About sex as women, and I'm excited to share my journey because it's been a huge journey and wonderful journey in my marriage. One of the things I'm most proud of and my husband is most appreciative of that I have healed and overcome in myself, and I'm excited to be sharing that. So
that just really proves that, like, I know it's cliche, but like women really aren't, men in there aren't like are in love, and women are in business, bro. That really just proves that right there. Yeah, if you're still getting married, especially like through the state and like inviting the government in your life in 2025, like you are literally cuckoo. You're literally crazy, or you're really just not thinking with this head, and you're thinking really with the little head for real.
I'm gonna be talking more about that on the channel, but that's the number 2 thing your husband really wish you knew, that sex is how he feels loved and respected, and that it's not an option in marriage. That when we made those vows, that's the commitment we made. It's part of a healthy relationship. And when, as women, we can reconnect with the fact that we enjoy sex too.
What's this? And that's another question. What's the point of even having vows if the vows can be broken at any time? Really by either party, but really one party is really the one that benefits in most cases. So what is the point of even reading off those stupid vows? Because they don't even mean anything. Like real rap. Like why is it even a thing? Like vows and stuff. It means absolutely nothing.
Something we do for ourselves and enjoy for ourselves, that we get the benefit of it and our husbands get the benefit of it. But a key piece is we really do have to remember that we enjoy it and not have sex for our husbands as something to check off the list just because it's important to them. They can feel that. We have to learn to be there and be engaged and enjoy it for ourselves, which is all our husbands want. And then we don't have the resentment or feeling used or feeling that that's all we're good for or that's what we're supposed to do. We can be in it for ourselves and our husbands.
Well, shoot, if you feel that's all you're good for, then that's probably is all that you're good for. Trust your gut. Jack. Yeah, I was in a 9-year marriage that could have been classified as sexless. All right, so he was in a sexless marriage. I kick myself to this day for staying so long and trying hard to make the marriage viable. See, that's the problem. That's just nasty how guys are. Guys try to make shit work. I'm not gonna lie, like a lot of women, they don't really care and they're down to destroy. Guys build, a lot of women just tend to destroy, bro. We're just gonna keep it a buck. So, well, let's see where we at. Make marriage viable. I would pursue her to have her state, all you want is sex, but we hadn't had sex in 3 months. I would classify her as a bait and switch bride. Emotionally, occasionally physically abusive, and my love for her wilted away until I would rather driven off a tall bridge than remain with her. Yeah, that's crazy. And he's living happily ever after. Okay. Damn, divorce starts in the bedroom and ends in the courtroom. That's a bar. When a woman wants to get pregnant, sex is suddenly all she can think of. Sex is more than just a physical act. For many people, it's an expression of love between two people. By withholding sex from your spouse, you are essentially telling your spouse you don't love them. I mean, that's pretty plain and simple. Damn, this guy really got cucked. As a married man for 24 years, I feel like crying listening to this. I wish my wife would listen to you. Like, bro, just let it go, bro. Let it go. I work in a female-dominated field and have come across groups of coworkers discussing ways to avoid sex in marriage. With older women giving advice to the young women on how to not have sex with their husbands. What? I was totally disgusted, and I've enjoyed watching many of these women end up divorced.